This is the story of the Van Arken watershed and one community's efforts to save it. Van Arken Creek is located in the headwaters of the Mattole River in far northwestern California. Spanning over 1,600 acres and containing miles of salmon and trout-bearing streams, it is completely free from residential development, and it functions as a salmon stronghold. The remnant old-growth forests of the Mattole headwaters are on the southern edge of the Pacific Northwest temperate rainforest. Home to abundant biodiversity, these forests also provide critical spawning and rearing habitats for listed salmonid species, many of which swim nearly 100 miles to spawn in the ideal channel conditions found in the headwaters of the Mattole. But these lands have suffered decades of impacts from one extractive industry after another. Tan bark extraction, industrial logging, cannabis production, each has taken its toll. These impacts have left the landscape fragmented and broken. In response, community members took the protection and restoration of this place into their own hands, and a grassroots restoration and conservation culture evolved. Sanctuary Forest, located in the headwaters, focused on forest protection. The Mattole Salmon Group worked throughout the basin and focused on in-stream fisheries restoration and fish rearing. And the Mattole Restoration Council worked with local landowners to assess upslope sediment and erosion sources. Founded in 1987, Sanctuary Forest began as a small group of community members attempting to save the last old-growth redwood groves in the Mattole River headwaters from being logged. Against seemingly impossible odds, Sanctuary Forest and their partners created a 5,000-acre old-growth redwood forest and salmon refuge in the heart of the Mattole headwaters. Their actions have been part of a landscape-scale conservation movement that has resulted in 140,000 acres of conserved land in Humboldt and Mendocino counties. Yet even after 3 decades of cooperative grassroots work to protect forests and restore wild runs of salmon, their continued survival is far from assured as the threats of ongoing human impacts and climate change continue to grow. Once again, Sanctuary Forest is faced with a seemingly impossible task: to raise $9 million for the purchase of the entire Van Arken watershed, the third largest subbasin in the Mattole headwaters. Despite past logging impacts, this watershed remains a salmon stronghold and is a refuge for many other threatened species. Sanctuary Forest has undertaken a campaign to protect and restore the Van Arken watershed. Their vision is to create a community forest with recreational opportunities and open spaces, a healthy forest with reduced fire hazards, old-growth forest recovery through sustainable forest practices, and increased summer stream flows for both fish and people. Over time, benefits also include carbon sequestration and enhanced salmon spawning and rearing habitat. Right now, these lands are slated for clear-cut logging and herbicide use, followed by subdivision into over 28 separate parcels. This fragmentation, driven by the high demand for large-scale cannabis cultivation, will potentially lead to many impacts, including road building, forest clearing and development, and stream dewatering, resulting in critically low flows for juvenile, coho, and Chinook salmon. Time after time, Mattole groups have pulled off what outside experts would deem impossible. To save the Van Arken watershed, Sanctuary Forest is asking you for help. Today, drought and impacts to salmon habitat have brought these native fish to a tipping point, extinction or recovery. It is now even more vital to protect this high-priority tributary. Sanctuary Forest is asking you to invest in the health and vitality of the Mattole River watershed, so once again, our grandchildren can tell stories of rivers brimming with salmon.
We launched the campaign to save Van Arken in October 2016 and have raised over $250,000 in donations and pledges in the past 7 months. We have been overwhelmed with the generosity from our community and from donors all over the country, but we still have a long way to go, and we're asking for your support today. Based on the idea from a local landowner, we have started a Fund an Acre campaign. An acre of land comes out to roughly $5,500, and people are donating the full amount all at once or pledging to split it up over 5 years, or $1,100 a year. No donation is too small. Even though the life of the campaign is 5 years, we need as many donations and pledges today as we work with the landowner to achieve a conservation outcome. Your donations will help us leverage grants and will be matched threefold by agencies and foundations. With your help today, we can permanently protect this precious ecosystem and ensure the recovery of listed salmonid species.